So, what is BFS? Well, the big question usually, the main people ask, what's the difference between BFS and UL? Ultralight, you're targeting small fish, light gear. BFS, you're targeting big fish, light gear. BFS originated in Japan for chasing wild trout. Guys knew the advantages of casting reels over spinning setups, etc., etc. Not going to debate that. The original ultralight reel was a Pixie, which was designed in Japan for the heavily pressured Japanese lakes over there for bass. The guys soon started seeing the advantages of being able to cast tiny lures with bait casting stuff instead of spinning gear. Yeah. So UL ultralight, I think of guys doing the Picasso pencil. BFS, CG's fishing normally. Nothing wrong with a pencil. We all got to start somewhere. Oh, that's a pen. Do you need BFS in your life? Well, it's quite a trend that's caught on extremely quickly, and I don't know, everybody seems to think they need a BFS specific setup to fish the way they want to fish. But what you got to ask yourself is, and honestly, what kind of weights are you going to be casting? You know, total weights, not just the weight of the jig, the head. You know, you got to remember, plastic weighs something. This little TRD from Z-Man weighs almost 6 grams before you've even put a jig head in it. So while you think you're casting a 2 gram or a 1 gram 1/16 ounce jig head, you're already casting 7 grams. You don't need a BFS specific setup to cast those kind of weights. So, you know, you gotta think, you could get most modern bait casters will cast 5 gram or up. The Roxanne, which is an Abu, it's not a BFS specific, no, it's marketed BFS, but it battles sub 4 gram. Great priced reel. You know, it's gonna take you up to the heavier weights too if you want, because I mean the weights for BFS range from 0.5 grams up to 12 is kind of like an accepted thing, which is called versatile BFS as it gets heavier. But you got to ask yourself if you're actually going to fish sub 3 grams, because that's when things become important. The rod, the reel, and they become a little bit more expensive. You know, do I need to use my BFS stuff all the time? I usually fish between 4 and 7 grams, so I could get away with, you know, my old, although it doesn't look like it now because I've got to rig up the massive old crankbaits and stuff. My Concept CE13, you know, I got it from the States ages ago before they're available in the UK. I was casting 5 grams of that with 12-pound fluorocarbon on. So yeah, you know, but the fact is that I have the option to go from casting 6 grams in a plastic or a hard bait down to casting, you know, something like that little orange motherfucker there and that little dude there. You know, I can still use that same setup after chucking heavier plastics, and I can go target trout with the same rod, the same setup, where I'm mostly going to be fishing at 3 grams and below. So, do you need an expensive setup? You know, like, I don't know, do you? It's nice to have it, and it's good to have the options there, but if you're a guy that fishes on the canal 90% of the time, and from what I've seen, most people are throwing Z-Man anyway, and you know, on 3 gram jig heads, you don't need BFS, you don't need to spend all the money. I mean, I have that which I use mostly for perch and stuff, but I do have the option if I want to go target chub on a small stream and I need small crankbaits, whatever, I can use it there. If I want to target trout or grayling in the season, you know, I've got a specific reel that I use for that, just because I have it set up perfectly for that kind of thing. So I don't need to you know, mess about with my other gear. I know this is going to cost 2.5 grams up to the maximum, which I usually use. Well, my usually is a 2 gram, little 2 gram jig head, and I usually use it with, what is it, big? Something like that, or usually even smaller, half that size, you know, especially for the grailing. I prefer going smaller. And I have the rods to do it, you know, the fine tail 1 to 5 area. I like it because it's a really parabolic rod. It does what I need. You know, so I still have my specific style to it. So basically, think about what you're going to be fishing mostly. You know, there's a lot of stuff out there advertised as BFS, which it isn't. Rather spend some good money on a nice reel, which is going to get you down to 5 grams, and it's going to cost up to whatever you want. If you want to use it for pike some other time, you know, just obviously depends on the line diameter, etc, etc. We're not going to get into that now. So, you know, splurge out if you like, don't if you don't. But yeah, give it a serious think. BFS isn't necessary to fish a lot of the baits guys are fishing them on. So, you know, you can cast those weights with anything. You don't need a BFS specific setup. You know, you need a L weight rated rod, light, bait casting rod, and, you know, just a half decent reel to get you down to those weights.